On behalf of St. Olave's Arts Guild and friends, welcome all. My name is Annis Tebbett. Ordinarily, at this time of the year, we would be bringing you Christmas lights to welcome Advent and the Christmas season. But 2020 has been an extraordinary year.
So let's relax, sit back, light the fire, and begin our annual tradition of seasonal music and readings. Comfort and joy.
Hi, I'm Arif Virani, the Member of Parliament for Parkdale High Park. On behalf of the federal government and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, I wanted to take this occasion to wish all of you at St. Olave's a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful Advent. I know this year has been difficult for so many of us right here in our community. It's been difficult, especially for our places of religious worship. But I thank you for the leadership you've shown at St. Olave's under Reverend Robert Mitchell for ensuring that you can continue to worship while observing public health guidelines. It is through leadership like that that we will get through this together. For now, I wanted to say again, have a wonderful Advent, have a very Merry Christmas, and now let's take a chance to light the Christmas lights at St. Olave's.
How the Grinch Almost Stole Christmas. Part 1. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other whose houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other whose mouses. It was 1/4 past dawn, all the who's still abed, all the who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet. He thought he heard Scott Gabriel playing his trumpet. He rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh to the who's. He was Grinchishly humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two, then the who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo! That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear.
I'm going to be reading a wee excerpt from A Child's Christmas in Wales by Dylan Thomas. Mrs. Prothero and the Firemen. It was on the afternoon of the day of Christmas Eve, and I was in Mrs. Prothero's garden, waiting for cats with her son Jim. It was snowing. It was always snowing at Christmas. December, in my memory, is white as Lapland, though there were no reindeers. But there were cats. Patient, cold and callous, our hands wrapped in socks. We waited to snowball the cats. Sleek and long as jaguars, and horrible whiskered, spitting and snarling, they would slink and slide over the back garden walls, and the lynx-eyed hunters, Jim and I, fur-capped and moccasin trappers from Hudson Bay, off Mumbles Road would hurl our deadly snowballs at the green of their eyes. The wise cats never appeared. We were so still, soft-footed Arctic marksmen in the muffling silence of the eternal snows, eternal ever since Wednesday, that we never heard Mrs. Protherow's first cry from her igloo at the bottom of the garden, or if we heard it at all, it was to us like the far-off challenge of our enemy and prey, the neighbour's polar cat. But soon the voice grew louder. "Fire!" cried Mrs. Protheroe, and she beat the dinner gong. And we ran down the garden with the snowballs in our arms towards the house, and smoke indeed was pouring out of the dining room, and the gong was bombilating, and Mrs. Protheroe was announcing ruin like a town crier in Pompeii. This was better than all the cats in Wales standing on the wall in a row. We bounded into the house, laden with snowballs, and stopped at the open door of the smoke-filled room. Something was burning, all right. Perhaps it was Mr. Protheroe, who always slept there after midday dinner with a newspaper over his face. But he was standing in the middle of the room and saying,
"A fine Christmas,"
and smacking at the smoke with a slipper. "Call the fire brigade," cried Mrs. Protheroe as she beat the gong.
"They won't be there, it's Christmas."
There was no fire to be seen, only clouds of smoke, and Mr. Protheroe standing in the middle of them, waving his slipper as though he were conducting.
"Do something!"
And we threw all our snowballs into the smoke. I think we missed Mr. Protheroe, and we ran out of the house to the telephone box. "Let's call the police as well," Jim said, "and the ambulance. And Ernie Jenkins, he likes fires." But we only called the fire brigade, and soon the fire engine came, and 3 tall men in helmets brought a hose into the house, and Mr. Protheroe, we got out just in time before they turned it on. Nobody could have had a noisier Christmas Eve. And when the firemen turned off the hose and were standing in the wet, smoky room, Jim's aunt, Miss Protheroe, came downstairs and she peered in at them. Jim and I waited very quietly to hear what she would say to them. She said the right thing always. She looked at the 3 tall firemen in their shining helmets, standing among the smoke and cinders and dissolving snowballs, and she said, "Would you like anything to read?"
Welcome, everybody, to the 12 Days of Christmas.
I'll conduct 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves
and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens,
2 turtle doves
and a partridge in a pear tree.
On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves,
and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves,
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 geese a laying,
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 7 swans a singing.
6 geese a laying,
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 8 maids a milking,
7 swans a swimming.
6 geese a laying,
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 ladies dancing,
8 maids a milking,
7 swans a swimming.
6 geese a laying,
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 lords a leaping,
9 ladies dancing,
8 maids a milking,
7 swans a swimming.
6 geese a laying,
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping,
9 ladies dancing,
8 maids a milking,
7 swans a swimming.
6 geese a laying,
5 golden rings.
show off. 4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 drummers drumming, 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping,
9 ladies dancing,
8 maids a milking,
7 swans a swimming.
6 geese a laying,
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds,
3 French hens,
2 turtle doves.
and a partridge in a pear tree.
No, no. That was so
Go team!
all right.
That could not be any better. And I
No?
really-
The first day after Christmas, my true love and I had a fight. And so I chopped the pear tree down and burnt it just for spite. And with a single cartridge, I shot that blasted partridge that my true love gave to me.
The second day after Christmas, I put on the old rubber gloves and very gently wrung the necks of both the turtle doves that my true love gave to me. The third day after Christmas, my mother caught the croup. I had to use the 3 French hens to make some chicken soup.
The 4 calling birds were a big mistake, for their language was obscene. The 5 golden rings were completely fake and turned my fingers green.
The 6th day after Christmas, the 6 laying geese wouldn't lay. So I sent the whole dang gaggle
to the ASPCA. On the seventh day, what a mess I found! The 7 swans a-swimming, all had drowned that my true love gave to me.
The 8th day after Christmas, before they could suspect, I bundled up the 8 maids a-milking, 9 ladies dancing, 10 lords a-leaping, 11 pipers piping, 12 drummers drumming. Well, actually, I kept one of the drummers and sent them back collect.
And so I wrote my true love to say we are so through, love. And I said in so many words, furthermore, your Christmas gifts were for the birds. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paulina Durbus.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Mark Smith. I first met Bill Wilson in 1992 when I joined the Toronto Mendelssohn Youth Choir as a bass. He was already singing in this group as a tenor, and we have remained friends ever since. I am going to sing and play a jazzy version of What Child Is This? What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him God, the babe, the Son of Mary. While lies he in such mean estate, where ox and ass are feeding? Good Christian, fear, for sinners hear the silent word is pleading. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh. Come, peasant king, to own him. The King of kings salvation brings. Let loving hearts enthrone him. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Welcome back to the How the Grinch Almost Stole Christmas, Part 2. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow, but the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at the Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came out with ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours, till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, needs a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
before Advent, when all through the pews we were decking the church in its liturgical hues. The purple cloths covered the pulpit and altar, and the clergy were busy consulting the psalter. The garlands were hung with care around the nave, and the carpet was vacuumed by our sexton named Dave. The organist, John, was practicing his craft. Our secretary, Judy, was printing a draft. The children were lighting Advent candles at home, with visions of one day being able to roam. The curate and rector, in their cassocks and collars, had met with the wardens about raising the next dollar. When out in the sanctuary there arose such a clatter, Rob sprang from his chair to see what was the matter. Away past the altar he flew like a flash, and into the warden's vestry he did dash. The temperature outside was beginning to chill, so the rads were clanging as they started to fill. He made a note to Sheila, our property chair. She would surely save us from this deafening glare. As he scanned all the rads in the church, Rob reflected.
It's been quite a year, not what anyone expected.
In March, we were faced with an awful disease. We quickly put our services on YouTube with ease. We gathered on Zoom. We worshipped online. We prayed all together that the world would be fine. COVID may be keeping many from this place, but it hasn't changed our sacred space. By September, we were ready to reopen our doors, now painted bright red. Not just one, but all four. With face masks and screening and sign-in for tracing, disinfecting and standing with 6 foot apart spacing. St. Olave's will one day be brimming with people. Our joyful singing will ring up the steeple. The spirit of our forebears lives on in the rafters. The walls hold the stories of much love and laughter. As Advent prepares us to remember a birth, we'll pray for each other and for peace on earth. Whether you're here in the pews or at home with some cheer, celebrate Christmas with St. Olave's this year.